then sort of one of them sort of nudges the trapdoor ladder thing that goes up to the attic, and it rapidly closes, and as if it's like sensitively, very sprung, very sensitively, and basically Malcolm sort of says, well, that solves that problem, and I don't think you should worry about that too, that sort of thing. I didn't say that, but it is very, very sort of odd that they don't sort of say, well, what about the clothes? My clothes disappeared, and he does mention sleepwalking. He says something about, oh, maybe you were sleepwalking. But it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of forgotten. It is that kind of that moment, like, I think it's best that you don't think about too much about it too, hey audience, just like we'll just let that lie. Yes, so the trapdoors are sorted, and he's then he gives a little bit more information about. I wish he stopped doing it. Just tell me the whole bloody story about this Hill Shears and this bloody doll. Like, just tell me it all, apart from these little snippets every so often. Anyway, this time he says, pub talk is that Brahms, the real Brahms, obviously, was a bit strange. And then she's back on the phone to Sandy, and this time Sandy says, Cole has gotten the address where you're at from my 10-year-old son. I think it's something like that she said. So so it's put out there that Cole could be turning up very soon. Yes, so evidently Greta goes to bed because she's awoken by another one of those dream jump scare things. There was one earlier. I don't know if I mentioned it or not. Anyway, this time she looks through the adjoining room, and Brahms is sitting up. It's just sitting up there, and this is really kind of spooky. And it's a part of the film where things start to get shaken up a bit. I felt, she is now witnesses this inanimate object who the audience kind of gets the sense that it may be possessed, but she's now, oh my God, this is really strange. And then she gets a phone call, doesn't she, from Brahms, and it's what's he say? Something like, why aren't you playing along with the rules? What was it? Maybe you can do it, Roger. You don't need to do it. Go on then. Why aren't you following the rules? Yeah, that's probably a bit better. That was something like that he says. So, yeah, really freaked out. And she slams the door, and there's some activity going on outside, isn't there, at her door. And she's sort of, I feel like she's then really sort of overwhelmingly sort of relieved to open the door and just sort of see this sandwich sitting there. Do you think? Yeah, nice sandwich. I wouldn't touch it there. Yeah, who's made that? So in her head maybe you think, oh, Brahms, he just wants me to be his nanny, and I'll do a good job now, and he won't freak me out. He'll just bring me a sandwich. So yeah, so she has this sandwich. I don't think you see her eat it or anything. Yes. So anyway, from that point onwards, she, you can tell she takes her job, her nannying job, really, really sort of seriously. And you also there's like a cutaway to see what the Hill Shearers are up to, and they're writing this letter, and then they're walking into this lake. Looks a bit cold. Yeah, very cold lake, and they drown basically, don't they? They have a couple of rocks, and they go under. So you sort of, the audience makes. You make of that what you will, I suppose. Greta is now the nanny that Brahms had always wanted. She's
She's there working 24/7.
Yeah, she's reading to him. She's carrying him around. She's putting him to bed, and she does all this while ignoring the phone, doesn't she? You notice the phone rings. It might be Malcolm or Cole, who knows? Maybe be Brahms, but she doesn't answer the phone. She's totally dedicated to this role of being a nanny, and yes, so she hasn't got the time for Malcolm.
She doesn't want his vegetables.
Yeah. And I also feel like at this moment in the film, I thought, she's been possessed by Brahms, just as maybe the mother, Mrs. Heelness, had been Heelshire had been possessed. Maybe I feel like it's now passed on, sort of, to poor Greta.
You think that?
I do. So yes, I think more time. I think more time passes than what maybe is on screen, because then she has Malcolm, the Greta, come back, and she's like, look, he's Brahms is moving by himself, and obviously Malcolm's a bit sceptical at first, but then he sort of sees it for himself. They close the door. He only sort of seems to move, when you're not there, present in the same room as him, which I thought I would question. But you close the door, open it, and he's gone. And eventually, he's sort of like sitting on the radiator or something like that. And far from being sort of freaked out by this, both I felt kind of sort of, okay, well, yeah, it does look like Doll Brahms has been possessed, or the spirit of the real Brahms boy has gone into the doll, and they kind of seem okay with that. Well, they're trying to get their head around it, and I think at that point Greta tells Malcolm that she had this rough relationship with Cole, and through his abuse, she lost a baby, and so I guess she can kind of empathise with the Heelshires, and yeah, they kind of see from she can see where they might be coming from when they adopted this doll.
Yes, I can see it too.
And maybe because Malcolm can now sense that Greta is really taking things seriously, he now feels it appropriate, apparently, to impart another piece of maybe I think it's the last kind of little piece of the puzzle, and says that Brahms was suspected of killing a girl from the town just before the fire, and yes, so evidently whatever I think Malcolm says, whatever is inhabiting the doll may not be all that pure, sort of thing. Yes, so Malcolm leaves once again.
He might as well just snooze in. He's there all the time.
Yeah, save petrol, wouldn't it? At least he's got a bike, maybe.
Yes, maybe he's keeping very fit.
And Greta, you see her with Brahms. She's emptying dead rats into the garbage bag, and she comes inside to the house, and you're encountered with this other guy And even though we'd heard a lot about Cole, I was like, who's this character? And yes, it's Cole. And very quickly, he
Jerk.
yeah, very quickly you learn that he's a bit of a jerk, and not just a bit of a jerk, but a real jerk, yeah. And he says to her, I'm here to bring you back. It sort of takes a look at one look at the doll and thinks, this is a joke. Come on, you're coming back with me. And I was thinking, yeah, I know he's a real imbecile, but could you not just go back with him, back to to America, and then sort of ditch him there, and
No, I don't agree.
Malcolm's back on the scene, and he's sort of introduced to Cole. There's this kind of sort of awkwardness. And then Malcolm leaves again, and that'll be Mummy.
Yes. Check it up on you.
Check it up on me. Where were we?
Cole asleep on the couch.
Yes, Cole's asleep on the couch. He wakes up. There's dead rats placed on his luggage. I thought that was quite amusing. Obviously not for him. He's pretty pissed off at this point, and then he sees
Get out.
Yeah, get out. Written, looks like red paint, but it's probably meant to be the rat's blood or something. High up on the wall, and then obviously he starts shouting for Greta and blames her for it. And starts his abusive ways, and Malcolm comes back. Like he's there, and
Malcolm, I feel like just say to him, God darn it, Malcolm, just stay put.
Yes, just stay put, Malcolm. Don't go anywhere. There's this big, all like shoving and pushing and sort of shouting and stuff. Cole gets hold of Brahms, doesn't he, and ends up smashing Brahms's head on the floor.
He smashes it into smithereens.
Yes, the eyeballs rolling everywhere. Well, there's two eyeballs rolling around, and Greta's like, oh no, and then the house starts to sort of, doesn't it? Starts to make like a bunch of noise. It's kind of all sort of like creaking, and things are moving around, and really, you think, what's going on? What's going on? And then, yes, well, this is the moment of the film where we discover that, far from being a film about a possessed doll, which it never really was when you think about it, the house starts to make all this noise, and Cole goes up to a mirror and is then sort of, whatever's on the opposite side of the mirror, sort of punches through the mirror. But you don't really sort of see it, and then Cole lands on his back on the floor.
Yeah, looks like he hurt himself.
Yeah, but we don't care about that. And there's a really sort of creepy scene of this thing emerging from the sort of like the frame with the broken glass coming out of the mirror, and it's like I thought it's Michael Myers, isn't it? It's like it turns into Halloween. This thing with this mask, this sort of like that kind of resembles Brahms' face, the doll. So we have this. So it's basically three guys in this. Three guys, two of them, nut jobs. Then Malcolm says something like, "It's Michael Myers." No, it says it's Brahms. And the moment he says that, I must admit I felt a bit disappointed.
You did?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of, I bought into the idea that the doll was possessed.
Well, that's your. I knew all along it wasn't possessed.
You didn't. How could you have known that? Anyway, so then it's Brahms. So the real Brahms then basically kills Cole. You know, hooray! Wouldn't sort of miss him. And yes, and then hooray for Malcolm, because Malcolm then hits Brahms. Brahms falls down, but he's not out. So then there's this sort of long chase scene through the walls of in between the walls of the house, where evidently Brahms had been sort of moving around. There's even just like a ladder that goes up to another floor. And I thought, would it be funny if there were like just hundreds of rats everywhere, as if as if like all this rat catching business just was pointless. Yeah? Yes, so Brahms is there chasing now Greta and Malcolm through the walls. They find Greta and Malcolm. They find the room where Brahms has been living for the last 20 years, and there's the letter, the note that the Hillshires had written, and it said something like you can, we're not coming back, and the girl, the Greta, is now yours to love, something like that, which obviously freaks Greta out. And Greta also finds the Greta doll that Brahms had made, and the coral dress that you mentioned is now on that doll again, very sort of spooky. What then? Well, yes, then Malcolm is attacked by Brahms, allowing sort of gives some time for Greta to escape, but then obviously she comes back for a final showdown with Brahms. And to cut a long story short, in a way, let's get this thing finished. She stabs Brahms, and you think, okay, he's dead. She then obviously goes to pick up Malcolm, who's not dead, thankfully.
Yeah, that's good.
And you see them driving away in a car together. Then there's a shot back at the house where there's Brahms, who seems not dead, and he's repaired doll Brahms. You can see perfectly, really. I mean, it's all shattered, but but it's there. And you're thinking, okay, well, there's going to be part 2. I have no doubt. And I wouldn't mind betting in part 2 somehow the doll really is possessed. Yeah, I do remain confused as to the ultimate intentions of the couple, the Hillshires. I mean, I'm okay with the doll because by nannying the doll, Greta was kind of nannying Brahms. It's sort of the way that sort of, I think that's what the Hillshires kind of wanted initially, without letting her know that there was someone living in the walls. But then when they leave and commit suicide, so they're gone, they're not around to sort of take care of Brahms's nannying needs. So either they were hoping that she would never find out, and she would just continue looking after the doll with Brahms in the wall, or at some point Brahms would reveal himself, and then what? Were they hoping that she would like think, okay, I'll spend my life with you anyway? Or would he kill her and then just retreat back to the wall and be alone with the rats, obviously?
And it was the grocer just supposed to continue bringing her her wages.
Yeah, that's another point. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. It kind of reminded me of one of those Hammer horror of mystery and suspense films, in so much that they entertain, they give you some sort of shivers, and you're not really supposed to think about them too much. Or if you do, you end up sort of like, oh, that doesn't make sense. But as such, no, I liked it very much.